This is Why My Business Works, a podcast for creative business owners that are building their business on their own terms. We talk to interior designers and architects running firms of all shapes, all sizes, ages, origins, and philosophies as we set out to show that there is no prescription for success because business is both art and science, and no one else knows or has a business exactly like yours. I'm Megan Dolly, strategist, CFO, and your hostess. Why My Business Works, I'm talking with Faigy Chaskelson, a designer whose name means bird in Yiddish, which feels fitting because you're always flying outside the box. Faigy started her entrepreneurial journey in manufacturing, co-founding the Artify Group, which creates art and signage for senior living and hospitality spaces. From there, she saw a gap. Business owners needed design partners who understood code, compliance, and budget, as well as beauty. She stepped in, and today she runs a thriving commercial interior design firm where she brings peace of mind to clients by handling every detail, from specs to installation. Her work is marked by bold textures, clean lines, and pops of color that spark imagination. What sets Faigy apart is her relentless curiosity. That same drive to learn fuels her work, her homestead with 5 kids and 10 chickens, and her foray into government contracting. This is a conversation about creativity, courage, and building spaces where people thrive. Thank you for coming today, Faigy.
Thanks for inviting me, and I look forward to our conversation.
What intrigued me is I got this wrong. I thought your design business came first and then the manufacturing business came second as a response, but it was actually
We have to do things ahead of the box.
I love it. How long have you been in business?
For the interior design business, I've been doing it for 10 years now. In regards to the art manufacturing, it's about over 15 years, I would say. 16, my son's 17, so yeah, about that point.
What does your staff look like?
There's 2 separate teams and 2 different businesses. Whenever there's a new person added, they don't realize I own both. I try to stay instead of in it. My team, I have 3 people. One person is my design assistant and project management. And we have somebody who does all the procurement, logistics, billing. And then there's another person that does the drafting. Then we have the other business where it's the Artify Group, where we have designers, graphics designers, the printing department. It's about 16 people operation, installers, somebody who oversees production, a lot of all the things that you think that would be in a thriving business for art, signage, and custom murals.
That's cool. That's a lot of people to not only like take care of, but also that get to take care of you.
They have to take care of me. That's part of being in a business. We hire them to help.
It's kind of lonely sometimes. We get to bring people on to help us out, and that's nice. On the interior design side, what size range do you have of your projects? How small and big do you go?
The small ones are like homes or a lobby in a multifamily or senior living. I can do a whole building of a senior living. I don't know the square footage. I always go wrong on that. But there's some facilities that we go in, it's like a hotel, literally doing every area, every common area, every resident room, every space we can design. Spec books can be 100 pages, all the details. Like I always say, baking a cake, let's say, I love the kitchen. The kitchen is my second spot. And when you're in the kitchen and you want to make a cake, you follow the recipes to the pinch of salt, because if you're missing that pinch of salt, it's not going to work. So the same with interior design. When you're working with interior design, you need to give the contractor the full recipe book. If something is missing, it can have big ramifications, whether it's for a custom unit or a paint color. These things happen. That's why everything has to be double and triple checked. We take care of that full package, and those package can be very, very big because of the size of the projects.
That attention to detail, that's huge.
Yeah.
That's right. Is there a specific niche you usually work in?
I started on senior living, the bulk of my business. The residential I generally do is not for the end user. I do multifamilies or fix and flip. I love working with business owners, speak the same language, and help them. They don't have to worry about measuring space or project management. It's easier. The decision makers in a business, sometimes there are business owners, and it could be like a marriage, but you're dealing with 1 or 2 people, and things done much smoother that way.
It's great. One battery died, popping on another. There we go. Can you hear me?
Sure, I can.
Okay. On the senior living side, take me back to how this started. You started with art manufacturing and it grew into interior design. I love this story.
I always kept saying, what's my story? I have no story. I am who I am. And then over time, I speak to people and people are like, Faigy, you have an amazing story. I'm like, okay, I guess I have a story. But the art company, how it started, it was a favor to my brother-in-law, an amazing artist. He sculptures on silver, the Kiddush cup, Judaica art a lot, or he would take a piece of silver and draw a town with people and birds. Everything to most artists, they don't know how to sell their stuff. So we got into the art business trying to help him out and getting him clientele in the States. And then we fell into a situation where a guy's like, I have tons of images, I have a printer, and it's not working. And we took it over and we started printing images and selling it to the stores, like, going peddling from stores to see who wants to buy the piece of art. We had to figure, my husband was the one, we started as a couple, so he had to figure out the machinery and try to figure out how to avoid cracking when you're doing visual clay. One day somebody approached us and said, you want to get into senior living? And I was like, no, I'm fine. We were like, a small business. We were okay. We're a young couple. He said, give a chance. Print one image for us. This is the image. Print it. And if you come and write, we'll give you the job. It ended up being a huge senior living building in Brooklyn. The business grew. Eventually, people heard about the Artify Group. We started doing large projects for design build firms. At a certain point, a lot of facility owners came to us. We work with facility owners and we also work with design build firms. Back then, the designers there weren't a lot of designers back then, like around 17 years ago. It started picking up over the past 10 years, I would say, where a lot of people started going into the interior design field. So we saw a void. People were saying that, the designers are either, because they're taking them from residential type of designers, they didn't understand the code compliance, the need of the end user and things of that nature. That's where I stepped in. I said, okay, if there's a void, let me fill it. I started without education, then I went to education and became the educator. It's a story.
At what point did you jump in and be like, I need to get my education on this?
A year into it, because even though I knew signage, I saw designs, I saw spec books and all those things, I still felt like I want to know more. I want to know about color. Like, I love your background. I see very creative, but I wanted to know color. I wanted to know everything behind it. There's so much to know, and I love to learn. If you ask me what I'm doing now, I'm in Columbia University doing a trade program, learning about business again. It's my nature to learn, and I felt there's more to know.
That's great. So, as you're stepping into the senior living facilities and learning all that code, when did you start hiring and getting help to back you up?
I started hiring in, I would say, about 2019. And the reason why I know that is because I know COVID came right after. We tried partnering with somebody to do procurement to sell products. The senior living first did it as design. Then we hired somebody. The partnership didn't work out. The partner was going through a lot of life situations. He's in a good place now. It was a partnership that didn't work out, but we have a good relationship with him. Once that fell through, I was like, you know what, let me pick up the pieces. I'll do the design and the procurement. And then I hired somebody talented, even though he didn't work on design, but he was really good at his job. He knew how to take care of project management and oversee everything. He was very detail oriented. He was at first hire.
Yeah, trying to make sure the end client is unaffected by personal stuff is hard for small businesses.
True. Yes. I remember we were going to a big meeting. He didn't show up. 2 hours later, we got a call. He was arrested by mistake. A lot going on over there. That was one example. Many more.
If I bring somebody onto my team, we have more control. I get my own flavor, my own spin. I do my training.
True, true.
We're going to do it my way. Okay. Sounds like you have a gift for sales.
I went to Goldman Sachs 10KSB program. I completed it last year in 2024. And until then, I'm like, "Ugh, I hate sales. Sales is not me. I'm not a salesperson." Then I had to give my first public speaking. I had to get up in front of the room and I was horrible. And then I did it again. And like a half hour later, they made us like go back to the desk, rewrite our speech and give it to the next crowd of people. And I aced it in a sense. And then I realized I do sales all day. I sell what color they should put into their office. I sell them. That's what design is about, is selling. Even though we don't see it as a salesperson, it really is selling. Once I got down to think about it, I do enjoy it.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
know I'm different.
I love this because you're like the art business. You started on sales, but didn't own the actual talent leaking through without
Yes.
your consent or knowledge. Good at sales. That's awesome. Your business is unique to you. As we know, they're all a little bit different. What would you say that when your clients are talking about you behind your back, what do they say that makes your business you?
I got a comment recently. I went down for a walkthrough for a potential job. The comment was that you are very approachable and adaptable. If something goes wrong, you're able to pick up the pieces and you're very calm through the whole process. So it was actually, like I did not even think of that. I thought maybe design was my thing. I never really looked into my marketing angle. It wasn't intentional, it just came through that you're adaptable, things go wrong, you figure it out. For example, I did a project last year and I did this gorgeous ceiling design. It was stunning. Push comes to shove, the contractor, even though I had a conversation on the first talk with him and I said, I'm doing an open ceiling concept, he went and prepared for drop ceiling. And in order for my client to change, it would have been over 100 grand to redo it. It was a big office space and they didn't want to pay. So I had to pivot and create a different ceiling design, which wasn't 100% to my liking. It's upsetting, but we had to adjust. Some designers give up, put their hands up high and say, that's it. It's not for me. I can't do it. But for me, I went in, I was calm, collective, and I was able to work around the situation. Instead of getting upset, we just pivot to his needs. So that's why, and this is a different story, not even about the other guy who mentioned that made that comment, but I guess that's what people are saying about me. It's just a calm collective and able to think, on the fly. Construction is a hectic world.
I totally get that calm, collected vibe from you. You seem very grounded and like, I got this. It's no big deal here. We're gonna.
I live every day. My husband, he can do it, but I can't separate everything, zone in, take out emotions. He would bring in all his emotions, usually the opposite, but it's my nature. I just know how to even though I'm upset at a client, if a client owes me money, I know how to separate that and be able to have a normal conversation instead of bringing in anger and resentment and things of that nature.
That's great. And can we talk about tearing apart a building to figure out how it works?
Recently, the last project I did was for my mother. After my father passed, my mother moved into my house until she found a property, and we managed to find a property literally facing my home right across the street. It was two options, either getting a contractor, letting the contractor do it, or me taking over. So I said, you know what? I want to learn everything there is to know about every single wire, every single the studs. Like, are they really a 2x4 or are they not? So I wanted to get to know the nitty gritty of every single detail of the home. I decided to wear the construction hat and I became the contractor. I got the laborers and I was on site every day. I did everything for that house because I wanted to know what to order, how to order, why this versus that. Educated me on every aspect of construction. When I had an opportunity afterwards where a contractor called me and I said, can you tell me the size of the wall? And he would give me the size and I'm like, that is raw or not raw? Because I wanted to know how many inches I have to add. Because if I want to do a custom mural, if you're giving me measurements, it's not going to help. It wasn't a simple 4-inch thickness of a wall. It was 7 inch because it was the foundation wall and the details. Because of my knowledge, I was able to gauge better and prevent things for the future.
That's amazing. You don't think of things that don't go wrong.
Right.
You get things that go wrong and the amount that you could probably prevent just from that very intimate knowledge with construction.
It's amazing. I'm so happy that I did it. I would never go back. It was hard. One day he was putting up the tiles and I'm like, you don't see something wrong with those tiles? He goes, yeah, the colors look off. He basically, the manufacturer by mistake black and white tiles instead of, oh no, gray and white instead of all gray. And not gray, it was like a beigey color, but it ended up being like a checkerboard. And he goes, you told me that everything's the same, but I just put everything because everything is the same. And you can't be on the site. So he put a checkerboard in a place that's supposed to be one color tile. I made him tear it down. You have to be very strict. I know it's hard work, but you got to go and crack them all down. I physically went, picked up those tiles, put it into my car, brought it back to the job site so you can do it correctly. You have to know how to be tough on
Yeah.
those as well.
Did you feel that they treated you differently because you were a first-time self-contractor and a woman?
I went in my fancy heels. I would go to corporate meetings. So I went dressed in all different ways. I didn't go with my jeans and my t-shirt. I was always dressed up to work and be in every environment. Sometimes they would call my husband. I'm like, I'm the one paying you, not my husband. So he would get the call and go, Faigy, what am I doing here? I would go and make sure they're doing it right. Even with the vendors, they were surprised. And they're like, I only sell to contractors. I'm the contractor. I'm going to pay for it, do it, and carry those 60-foot molding if I need to. So yes, I definitely felt that.
You learned business kind of by accident until you intentionally learned it. You started this art business. Is there a moment in this career where you grew into the role of business owner?
I always felt comfortable doing what I do. I knew I had potential. I just never knew where life would take me. A relative told my husband, your wife is going to grow into something. When I got married, my first job was working in offices. I even worked in the Medicaid department. My manager wasn't the best. I approached the CEO of the company. It was a huge company. And I was like, look, the manager's not good. Let me take over. I created all the checklists, to-do lists, documents. She didn't do it. And I'm running to the meetings to meet all the, Medicaid departments. It's me, not her. He told me, you're not posh. This is not for you. That was the day I got out and I said, I'm not being a worker anymore. I'm the one meeting the guys she's supposed to be meeting. I was so hurt. I told my husband, we got to do something else. That's when I decided to do something on my own. We always have imposter syndrome. This morning, I saw my neighbor. She just had a granddaughter and was waiting outside with her younger kids for the bus. I came out and I made coffee for her. I was like, Riva, I see you. Here's your coffee. I know you're probably up all night with your granddaughter. I'm a regular person. Sometimes you get that imposter syndrome. One day you feel like a business owner. The next day you feel like, what am I doing here? It's like a scale, goes up and down.
What's next for you? Do you have something more on your agenda that you want to accomplish?
A lot. So I have a goal that I'm going to do something at the JFK or an airport. I don't know why I have that goal, but I put it on my to-do list a year ago. I got exposed to government contracting and realized there's so much out there, my little niche of where I'm working at right now. And I want to pick up on government contracting because it has a lot of potential and to do some interior design work for these interesting locations that when I travel, when I fly, that's me.
That's
That's
so
what I
cool.
want to do. Yes.
So how does your team support you best? Are you the one mostly client facing?
My team is remote. They are not in-house as far as interior design is concerned.
Mhm.
And they did start in-house, then life changed. I was happy with them. So I was able to do remote with them. And whenever they come like for a vacation in the States or they come to the States, they work from my office, so it works.
How you work with your team? What's the dynamic?
So yeah. So I am the one going to all the job sites. I oversee it. Last week we did an installation. I was overseeing the installers, making sure they're getting everything right, putting everything in the right manual, that they're able to, like when it comes to, depending on where they are in the chain, we give color coded directions. They take care of everything. We work via WhatsApp. Every single week we have our weekly meeting just to go through all our projects. And that could take anywhere from two to 3 hours. And then every day we do like a little huddle, I call it. We get in a quick WhatsApp group call, go over what's on fire today, the immediate tasks and clients we have to take care of.
What's the most fun part of your job?
Seeing the reaction of the clients, whether it's presenting or getting into their space, even the reaction of the contractors. Yesterday, one of my clients shared a picture and I made it like, wow, that's awesome, or something like that. And the contractor responds, like his company name, like he did it. And I was laughing. I'm like, it's a compliment. Conversation. He's like, yeah, this is my company. And I'm laughing. I'm like, yeah, it's my design. That's why it's your company. I designed it and delivered all those products to make sure you get it done right with the right drawings. It was cute.
What's
Biggest
one of
risk.
the biggest risks you've taken in business?
I like to go in scared. The risk is when you don't know what you're doing. I have no problem doing it. Risky because I would go in and not know if it's a new environment. I'll take care of it. And then I go home like, what did I do? What did I do? But I love to learn. So I do the research and I figure out what that environment needs and everything that entails that space. But yeah, that's the risks I take every day.
Why does your business work for you?
I delegate, teach my workers, like technically they can do anything on their own, but I teach them to be able to take everything off my head, that if I disappear for a day or two, everything can be working the way it's supposed to be working, and nobody has to rely on me. And it works for me because even though I have a family and my homestead, whatever it is, I'm able to give the attention, even if it's an emergency. I'm able to drop everything and tell my workers, you take it over and I can take care of what needs to be taken care of. It's flexibility that I'm able to adjust what needs to get done.
You have seem to have this balance of this creativity that can see a problem and be like, okay, I'm going to figure it out, as well as the practicality of I know what I'm capable of, I know what I can trust other people with, and like the relationships that you foster are
Hmm.
respectful, get the best out of your team.
Correct.
Great.
Interesting mix.
Other than having creativity in JFK, what's next?
I take life as it goes. I want to grow a big company and exit without exiting, maybe move to the other side of the ocean. I know it cannot happen for another 3, 4 years. I've been discussing with my husband that we can both do it. Me traveling, I love traveling. Every time in Newark airport, I watch the planes and sit there. Whenever I'm traveling to Brooklyn or Long Island, I'm like, I love this spot. So I love to travel. Something that went through our heads. Maybe we should do it. There's a point I can do it with my kids. Like when they're transitioning from elementary to high school or things of that nature, there is that 1 year that all our kids are lying. Something we're thinking of doing.
That's great.
We retire. Young.
If you're building something that has great bones, there's no
Yeah.
reason that's not a possibility.
The other day in the park, and I met our old partner, and he's like, get into technology. You got to get into technology. And he did not come with a technology business. And so it did cross my mind. And every night before I go to bed, I'm like, what can I do for technology?
One of those ideas that wake you up in the 3 o'clock in the morning a year from now, and you're like, oh, I know what it is.
If we keep pushing, it's going to come out. About when?
If you were to shout out your favorite designers, architects, or people that have helped you or that you admire, who would they be?
People I admire. One person is my husband, because at the end of the day, he loves business as much as I do, and he is always learning, but he has a different way of learning. I just admire that he's always learning just as much as I am. Who else helped me along the way? There's a company called Act Two Interiors. The owner is Schiffer Mendelowitz. She has a warm heart, always there to help. Whenever I have a question, she's like, call me. I know she's busy because I also own a, interior design firm and also running and flying. And she's doing the same, but she would take the time at night and just go through my issues. And it's something that I really admire.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, Faigy, I love everything about this. You have my heart and soul. I know I have potential. I know I'm going to do great things. You have a fan. Thank you for listening to Why My Business Works. I hope you found some ideas to chew on, perspectives that give you a boost, and a little shot of courage to do things your way. Until next time, I'm Megan Dolly, and I'm rooting for you.